Today's project is inspired by some really cute felt that I found at Hobby Lobby recently. And this is that piece of felt. And as I was going through the aisles of Hobby Lobby, I like to just look at the sections, even though I wasn't planning to get felt when I was there. When I passed by and saw this, I just fell in love with the mushrooms. I thought it was a perfect look as we're going into September and getting closer to the fall season. Not quite into Halloween yet, but it's a great little piece and I love this. So it is the little bit stiffer piece. It has this white on the background. This was 99 cents. And so this was that. And what I'm planning to do with this was inspired by a project that I did many years ago, which is decorating composition notebooks but using felt covers on both the front and the back. And it's a cute little notebook. It has multiple meanings. And I had really forgotten where this was until I began looking for a composition notebook for me to use for this project. It was really fun finding this, not only because I was reminded of how I did make this notebook, but it can also be used for note keeping, any kind of junk journaling, any kind of scrap journaling that you want to do. And the particular way that I had done this one with this cute little piece, now you can tell this was from 2012, so it's the pink leopard that was really big, chevrons and all those sort of things back then. I used this, I have a piece of ribbon as a bookmark, so I could have attached it there. And I considered us doing that with the project today, but I think I have another idea that I would like to try. But this is a cute thing to do if you have one that you just attach the ribbon across the front and then it can hang and then overlay into the pages. So let's see what we're going to need for today's project. It's really straightforward. Get any piece of felt, and they have several different kind of designs of decorative felt, but I do like this stiffer kind. I love the feeling of felt, and so that's why I think I like this project. It's very similar to just covering our notebooks with paper, but we're going to add that a little bit of extra texture. I also like to get a piece for the back, and I just do a solid color for this particular one. And I'll be honest with you, mainly because this was 99 cents. The felt was not on sale or anything this week. These solid pieces are just 25 cents at Hobby Lobby. So I went with a coordinating piece. Now, another thing we're going to need to do is decorate the inside. Now, I did not do that on this notebook. And if you remember, like most composition notebooks, they have these inside things on the cover, which I think are really cute to have. And if you want to leave it plain, you can. But I think what I'm going to do is look at decorating it with some coordinating paper. And I recently shared in a TikTok video this paper pad that I picked up at Ollie's for $1.99, and it's 180 sheets, die cuts with a view. And as I was flipping through this trying to find, I really love this. It's not a deep red, it's a softer red. Look at how much this matches these little circles here with this mushroom. I'm probably going to go with this. There's some other reds. There are, I like the gray. Let's see. There's the gray. That's really cute. And then there's different designs in those colors. So I think, see, even like with this, but that might be a little much. I think I'm going to go with this for my front and back cover. I just really like that. I get a couple of sheets of that. So I've got that picked out, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. We're also going to need a composition notebook. Now, there's several different kinds you can find, and when this is being recorded, it's right here at back to school time, so a lot of supplies have been out, and maybe some by now are on sale, so it may be a great time to pick up some composition notebooks. But I did want to make this you aware of this. So I have lately in recent years seen a lot of the compositions with the plastic folders, very bendable. These are nice to have, but for this project I prefer to have a little bit sturdier of a cover. This is one of those type of composition notebooks, and I'm not 100% sure where I got this one. This has the graph paper though, and I do like that for certain things, but this cover still seems a little bit flimsier to me. I think for this, the tried and true old composition notebooks with this kind of front. It's more of a cardboard, thicker front and back, and the lined paper. So I think this is what I'm going to go with. We're also going to look at covering the inside. I'm not going to do the bookmark yet. I think I'm going to save that and do a charm in a future project because I've got some really cute charms to use. And the hint is all on the front here, and we'll get to that in a future video. But today we want to cover our notebook. So because we're going to cover this front notebook and we're doing it with felt, it's a little different than with paper. We are going to try a technique that I haven't used in quite a while, and that is using spray adhesive. This is an Elmer's brand spray adhesive. It is an aerosol can, and you shake it up. So it's kind of loud there. You can find, I think it's a different cover, but it's still Elmer's. They have spray adhesive. It's multi-purpose. It can be temporary or permanent. And the way it's temporary or permanent is for how long after you spray, you put your item on it. So if you spray and you let it sit for a little bit and then put some things on there, that's more going to give you a temporary hold. But the quicker you get your item on there, that's going to give you a more permanent hold. Another thing that I'm seeing that was a little different, and I need to watch right here, my spine, the little piece right there is coming up. I want to make sure I cover that. When I put my felt down, I'm going to put it a little bit over that. It's going to have a piece there, and that may have been why one of the reasons I put that ribbon there to cover that up. I think that's going to be okay with how I want it. We could put it even, and I could play around and maybe re-glue this. I may actually do that and line it up even, but I'm going to have to doctor this up first. But we're going to use our spray adhesive. When you use this, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. And I'm also going to put my big glue mat down so that I'm careful not to get it on anything. My plan for our book, because we have this area, we're going to use the spray. When it sprays on clear. And then I'm going to move to put this piece of felt right here. Now we can and it will be repositional, but we still want to work pretty quick. And what I'm mainly going to be concerned with, I'm showing you now while I don't have the glue on here, is we want to line it up with the top and then along our edge right here. And then I'm going to leave that and give that some time to dry. And then we'll come back in and trim around our edge. So that is the plan. I have my little glue mat down, and I'm going to shake up our can and get ready to spray this on. So I am shaking this up and I'm ready to spray. I'm going to kind of start in the middle to get my spray. Okay, so it's just an aerosol spray on this cover, and I'm really wanting to make sure there's not too much of a odor. And I'm going to line this up. And now we can place this on here and really rub this on. And make sure I'm not sticking to my mat as well, because that is sticky, but I really love it. It's not the messiness of liquid glue, and I already feel it's on there really well. Okay, but I'm still going to leave this, and I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. I'm actually going to open it up, and I think I'm going to lift this up and set it on my mat, and I'm going to let that sit for a while. Or do I want to go ahead? I think I'm going to go ahead and let's do the back side. I think it's good enough to go. So I have the other piece of the other piece of felt here. I'm going to shake this up again just in case. And let's do a spray. Okay, we're gonna line this up. Place that down and just rub that in. Make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. And I'm just gonna kind of make sure everything is not sticking. I can hear the stickiness of this. So I'm probably gonna need to wash off my little glue mat because it does have some stickiness on it. So just be aware of that. I've got some wipes and I'm gonna wipe that, and then I'm gonna set this down to dry over here, and I'll come back to you and I'll let you know how long I let it sit. Just using a baby wipe to go back over my mat because just to be sure. And then here I have my glue mat. We'll run this baby wipe over it and make sure that it's not too sticky now. But that is the purpose of my glue mat, is that if I get glue on it, it's okay. And I get these mats at the $1.25 store, or actually it's more than that now, right? I get this at the Dollar Tree. There's a really big sticky spot right here, and I don't know if that was, we'll see how that ends up being. Maybe in a little bit. I may have to use some of my Goo Gone or something like that. It's coming up. So I feel like my felt is on my book very good. I've left it here a few hours mainly because I needed to run off and do some other things, and I thought it was a good time to leave it. Now, the only thing I am noticing, and I'm not really wanting to pull this up a lot, but I do feel it's like it's on here good, but maybe like at the corner right here, and that may have been because I didn't spray it well enough. But I think what I want to do is I want to trim this out, and then I may apply a little bit of glue in any spots that I see that it's up. But I really like how it feels. It's very smooth, and I just feel like it's on the book well. Now, the reason I want to now trim this out before I place this is because I like to keep scraps. And so what I'm gonna try to keep these little extra pieces that I trim off. And I feel like if I put my paper down first, because I am gonna try to use the adhesive to attach the paper, then I'm going to end up spraying it and getting on the back of this as well. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim this out around the book. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to turn this around. This way when we can cut, we can go around the edges. And I want to make sure I don't want to cut too close. I can always go back and trim some, but you can't get it back if you cut too much, right? So I like to be right around the edge here. And we'll take that off. Make sure you have a good pair of scissors to use this felt. And let me trim that up a little bit. I had gotten it a little off there. And I think that looks good. And now we'll take this and trim off the back side, the brown. This was the paper that was a little, or the felt that is a little thinner, so it is a little easier to trim off. And let me just have a few little spots here and there that got a little off. Let's see, I think that's good. Let me get this edge. And then right here, a little bit extra. Okay, let's see how that looks. I'm pleased with that. And I love the feel of the felt. And here are my scrap pieces that I'm gonna keep because look, I still have several mushrooms on here. Now when I do an inspection along the edges, I think when I trimmed that off, it pretty much, maybe just a little bit right there. I may put just a little bit of my glue, just regular Tombow glue, but I think it's so close. I can pull it back a little bit, but I'm just gonna put some of this Tombow glue right here. And we'll let that dry. When I made that last little cut right there, I got just a little bit of that front cover, and you can see this paper sticking out. That bothers me, but I'm gonna have to let it go. I'm gonna go ahead though and look at covering these insides now. Here was the paper that I wanted to put on the inside cover. And like I said, I am going to use this adhesive spray to attach this. Everything I've read says that you can use this on paper, and we're gonna give it a try. I don't recall ever using it before. If you remembered, I had already cleaned off all of this, and so I'm gonna end up having to do that again, and that is perfectly fine. This is where I'm going to be placing this. I'm wondering if I want to place something over on this side. Let me go grab another one of my glue sheets. Okay, I have a second glue sheet that I am going to place here. Let's see how well I'll do this. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. Let me move this paper pad. My other book. It wouldn't be a bad idea if you had a space outside to do this spray, just so that you didn't have to worry about all this. But I do still want to have something over that first page. I'm going to spray it, and then we will put the paper down. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna, even though I've got it down on this cover, I want to lift it up because I do have spray that I've sprayed there. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back down because I'm finished spraying, and I'm going to end up using those wipes on my thing again. Now, as I'm pressing this down, it does feel a little damp, but it's nothing like having liquid glue under it. And I think I'm going to just set this here for a little bit, and then we will be ready to do the back side. But I'm going to let this sit, I think, for a little bit. I was just reading on the back of the can, and it does say to allow to set at least 1 hour. So I'm going to leave this here probably a little bit, and then let's go ahead though and look at this back side. I just wiped off this sheet. We're gonna, let's see, I'm gonna turn it over. And I'm gonna go ahead and cover all of this up. I still think it's okay to have those sheets. I think it's dry enough there. We're just gonna set it in its position. I'm getting all my papers ready. Now let's shake up our can again. And get ready, we'll spray this. Get those corners, make sure I got those really well. And we'll line this up. It also says on that back sheet, which I kind of had indicated before, that if you want a permanent stick, to put it down within 15 seconds of spraying. So now I'll lift this up so that we can clean off that bottom piece and just let this sit here. And then I'm gonna let these set for at least an hour. Now I've given this time to dry, and it's time to start trimming out our paper. So I'm going to do this the same way I had done with the felt. Let's see, I'm trying to find which way is easiest for me to cut. I think I'll start with this back side because it's just easy for me to cut from this side. So we're just going to trim around the edges. And we'll take these corners. And we can do some cleanup as we need to. Let's see how this turned out. So this is my scrap. I'll set that aside. Let's see how this back page looks. That looks really good. I like how that turned out. And we have that, everything looks good. It's down. Okay, now let's go with the front section here. It's a little bit easier for me to trim when I can see it from this direction. But it's hard to get right to this edge. I'm going to go from here. I'm going to have to cut this first from that direction. Do you ever have those issues trying to cut, getting your arms and your hands and everything in place? And now from here, I know it's weird, but I don't feel like I can get a good handle on it from that other direction. I'm just going to have to go by feel here. And I may have to come in and trim it up a little. I'm going to get my really sharp scissors. Clean this little bit up right here, but I couldn't get it, I don't think, with those other scissors. But I want it to be straight. Okay. See how this looks right here. Take off those edges. And that looks good. I don't see any pieces hanging out over the side. Maybe on this back, but I think that's going to be understandable. If I cut it even shorter, let's see. Maybe I can clean that up just a little bit better here with my little scissors. For this particular notebook, I think it is finished for now. I love how it turned out with this beautiful felt with the mushrooms on the front. Look at the little snail. I see something new every time I look at it. I love the little flowers and the leaves, everything like that. So here I have the mushroom front. We have the inside that now is covered. Now I could go in here and I could add some pockets if I wanted to. We have plenty of paper space. Our back portion that could also have a pocket if we wanted to add that. And then the back side that is the brown felt. This is so nice. It feels so comfy. Now, what is left, of course, I'm going to need to be adding either a little bookmark and or charms. And I think I'm going to save that for another day. But this gets me started with my notebook. I love it. Go grab some really cute felt and add that to the top. And if you're interested, use the spray adhesive. It was really quick and easy. Not a lot of mess in terms of wet glue. And the thing that I really like is you don't have that same hardness that you get from glue coming out and squeezing all around and everything. Very even spray. So I would highly recommend it for projects like this and just have fun. It did great with the felt and the paper. So I hope you've enjoyed my project today, and I hope you get to make a cute notebook as well.